Hey guys, it's Robert Gardner with the Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast. I have my longtime friend and colleague, James Carolan, across the pond with us. He's in London. So, James, introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do and what's going on in London.
Right. Okay. So I'm James Carolan, and I've had quite a long history in this world. I've originally trained in holistic massage, what's known as Swedish massage in most of the world. And then I went off to study Twina, Chinese medical massage. It's one of the branches of TCM. And then I went off to study acupuncture because I thought it would be a good combination to have. Then later I studied some of the other Asian systems like Indonesian massage, and I also later on studied Thai yoga massage, which is something that I really enjoy doing. I'd like to do a lot more of it. However, trying to get people into the whole mat thing can be a little bit difficult at times. I also have a qualification as a yoga teacher. So that's me in a very short, condensed space of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, just before I forget, can you tell people where they can find you online in case they want to follow you?
Yes, certainly. If you find me, or you could find my website is www.maxstrengthholistics.co.uk. Alternatively, if you type in Twina on YouTube, you'll find me very quickly. So that's Tuina. And if you typed in massage in London on YouTube, you'll also be able to find me very quickly on there as well. Yeah, and that's So that's really good to let people know that you can do that. It also shows the power of video, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we talked briefly about discussing COVID and precautions and what people are doing. How has that been for you?
Oh, it's a lot of extra work to get very little in return. So
Yeah,
yeah, so as soon as I walk into the clinic, I mean, before I just missed the days of walking into the clinic, saying hi to the receptionist, going up into the treatment room, getting my stuff ready, and away you go. Now it's a lot more it's a lot more cumbersome than that. I go
yeah,
in. I've Because I take public transport, so I either take a bus or a train to work, which a lot of us do. Um, yeah, that means as soon as I go in, I have to go into the changing room, change my clothes. That means I'm carrying loads of extra stuff. Go into the treatment room, wipe all the surfaces down, wipe down the surface of the computer, the phone, open the window, also wipe down the massage table again, and then get started. Oh, and then put you on PPE as well, my personal protection equipment. So it's also putting on my
yeah,
apron. I mean, I don't know how it works in the States, but we have to wear apron, um, masks, and a visor.
yeah,
Um, and for about I would say like a good 4 weeks, uh, when we were allowed to work again, it was a big discussion amongst ourselves, the government, and our professional associations, whether we should be wearing gloves to do oil-based
yeah.
massage. It was a real yeah, that was being debated. So there's a lot of therapists out there are very confused. Me being one of
Yeah.
them as
Yeah,
well.
there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of discrepancy in the states, or 50 states, 50 sets of rules. Um, I know that I'm fortunate that some of my business was already online. I was working at teaching online more, which I've continued. We're about to push to a new level of doing that. So I have two really solid regular clients
Mm,
that I see consistently. I wasn't pushing for clients. I got divorced, moved into an apartment, and I'm seeing those two clients, and I do those two clients as out calls.
mm,
In the last 3 or 4 months, I think I've only seen like three new clients, and I just screened them heavily on the phone to find out. And in most cases, they were working at home
mm,
in near complete isolation, except for like going to the store. So you mask up, work on people, and just do the best you can. I
Yeah.
feel fortunate that I have, other revenue streams, but for a lot of therapists, it's been really, really problematic. I see here in Texas, there's lots of equipment for sale, and people are basically leaving their practice in pretty large numbers because, they need revenue.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same over here. I mean, my work is pretty much like halted to a standstill almost. I mean, I'm only working at the clinic at the moment, part time, and the rest is me like looking for work. So I've got several interviews coming up. I mean, the main bulk of my work was working in offices, like so doing chair massage in offices. So when COVID hit, um, yeah, that I couldn't, that means there was just no work at all. And now
Yeah.
people are working again. They're working from home, hence they're not going to be in the offices. So I can't really do my do my chair massage work. And even if I did, I'd have to change. So each chair massage client I see in an office uh, on an average day would probably last about 15 minutes. So I would have to change my PPE for every client
Yeah.
that I see. So can you imagine? So if I see 20 people, I'd have to change. I'd have to bring 20 different
Yeah.
items of PPE. Just taking that off, changing it, and the break it takes in between clients as well.
Yeah.
It's just so cumbersome.
Yeah, that's where my model a little bit is different, where the sessions are 3 hours long.
Mm,
Max, I would see 2 clients a day. So I don't have a huge amount of foot traffic, even if I'm traveling to other people. So that's a little bit of an advantage, but COVID is just a rough situation for anybody in our industry at the moment, since, the primary service we offer is hands-on, close,
mm.
intimate contact with people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I think a lot of people are very scared for the idea of actually having some hands-on work. But I mean, I think the way we're doing it at the clinic, I mean, we're wiping down everything. We're doing everything we can to keep the risk of infection to a minimum. And I think that the clients coming through the door know that, and they feel a little bit more at ease. But we need more people feeling a bit more confident in
Yeah.
what we do, really. In order for people to come in through the door. Um, yeah, I mean, it's not just us feeling it. I mean, I remember like the first time I walked out of lockdown, actually going to work and sitting on the bus and looking outside the window and just seeing how many of my favorite like, little businesses have closed down. And that was really depressing for me. Just like seeing all my favorite little cafes or my favorite little shops that I used to go into all closed down. Yeah, that was pretty sad. I mean, I hate to talk all doom and gloom here, but I mean, this is what I'm seeing at the moment. And
Yeah.
yeah, some of the more positive sides, I think, because I'm trying to do my best to try and sort of pick myself up a little bit here. But yeah, some of the more positive sides are, well, at least there are people replying to my applications, which is good. So I have one
Yeah.
tomorrow, and yeah, and I'm due to actually I've been asked to look at a contract at the moment to see if I can get started with a new startup business. Um, that's I mean that's a positive, but how much work I'm going to get out of this? They're a new company, and we've been hit with COVID, so I don't know I don't know what the future will hold. In that
Yeah.
regards. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's a
But,
tough scene. I mean, therapists have asked me, for advice and like what to do. And this was earlier on when COVID was pretty new. And they're like, well, we're looking at educators like you to lead us the way. And I'm like, uh, I'm not an epidemiologist. Like, just do whatever your state tells you to do. Like, viruses aren't my forte.
yeah.
Like, I mean, in other words, I'm relying on those same professionals to tell me what's going to be the safest mode, of offering what we do. What I've done is mainly just limit contact.
Mm,
Actually, for me, I think I'm a bit of an introvert, and I realized it more going through this because I've been quite content to be home, read books, hang out, shoot video, work on online stuff with a
Mm.
relatively small amount of contact, including doing podcasts, making phone calls, talking to colleagues, checking on what's going on.
Hmm.
Making future plans has worked quite fine for me, but my friends who are extroverts are having problems. Like they really crave attention and physical affection from people that they're not able to get, whereas I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think you've got. So that means you probably have more time now to focus on your online stuff because you're at home. And yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's exactly what I was thinking about as well. Because now I've got my new camera. I need to. But that's the thing as well because I've got this camera which I invested in. Well, I need to get hold of a new laptop and invest in a course in editing, which I thought I would have had the money to invest in, but I don't now because of the lack of work I'm getting at the moment.
Yeah,
Um, but but also what I find quite interesting as well is like when people say like, well, I've got I've got no work at the moment. What can I do? Well, I mean, the answer was pretty easy for me. Is that okay? If I can't work, then I'm just going to shoot. I'm going to keep shooting videos, and I'm just going to do as many as I can. But then what I come to realize is, and this is leading on to why I think video is important. What I was saying to you earlier on. Now we've got this extra time. I'm speaking to other therapists. I'm saying, okay, we've got all this extra time now. Why don't we start making videos? And the amount
yeah,
of people who don't want to be on the camera
yep,
is more than surprising to me because look, guys, you've got no work happening. You want to be able to advertise for work. You don't have the money to invest in a huge advertising campaign that if you're thinking about doing that. So let's do video. And so many people just don't want to get in front of the camera.
yeah,
Um, and it was and actually I think that's the stage of the game that I'm at the moment because I remember having a conversation with yourself and a few other of your students on a Zoom event on a Zoom call and I think most of them were going through that think well what am I going to say in front of the camera, what am I going to do in front of the camera, how am I going to look to the general public,
yeah,
um, and that but I'm at another phase in my development whereas I'm not thinking about how I look on camera. I'm thinking about well, how do I improve my editing? How do I improve my video quality? How do I make my videos stand out? Like with graphics
yep.
and text and that sort of thing. Um, yeah, so I'm really so at the moment my challenge is well several challenges really improve my video quality through editing and what have you and also just trying to get the bodies in front of the camera as well. It's really can be quite difficult, but it is very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really realize that when I started shooting video that the real reason people didn't want to be on video is they're insecure about how they look or how they sound or, all these
Mm,
various things. Um, for better or worse, I had the gift of gab, so I took the video pretty easily. It certainly
mm,
improved over time, but I had things to say and I didn't care if people called me fat or said things about me, so I just shot video. And for me, in an industry where people don't shoot video, that was a winning formula.
yeah.
Much like you, I'm trying to figure out how do you make it better. I'm working on multi-camera live streams so I can teach online more easily, things along those lines. Graphics, editing, rendering video, adding music, multiple shots, different camera angles. I mean, it's really infinitely complex. And you get to this point, you're like, man, I'm a body worker. Like, what's all this Federico Fellini camera angles, the art that's basically stacked on the video, but it's really just having enough. It's plenty to start just with your smartphone and just make Instagram videos and get comfortable on camera and then continue to expand through repeated iteration. You do it again and again and again and just improve it. Layer after layer after layer, and you just I mean, look, just before we got on here, I'm like, I can't get Zoom to work. How does it do this? It's not, I don't know, it's like I'm
Yeah,
figuring it out as I go. Like, I don't have everything together. It's been disheartening to me to see that therapists aren't spending their time working on their business this way. But I also have a different mentality when it comes to how I think these things are built. Does it make sense?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I think this is really, really important. And I know that massage therapists are just kind of like, well, mostly they have an employee mindset. They want someone else to do it for them. And though I
Mm.
understand that, I think that that leads to a situation where you're at the whims of that owner. You're making less money per hour. You don't really get control over the service that you're delivering, that you get to tune to the client. I'm really on the side of independence, entrepreneurship, liberty, freedom. Listen to the music you want, do the services you want, work with the clients directly, and it's like there's really an embodiment of the American dream, like within my business. For me, what that means is video production. That has to be a big part of what I do to make a novelty service, if you will, a service people don't know about. Half my job is education.
Yeah, I mean that really that's something that I really wanted to talk to you about. Is like the power of video. I mean, I mean, I like to say like that's why I keep telling to a lot of therapists out there. So, have you made any videos? They normally say no, and I think it's just really they don't know what videos can do. Well, for a start, it's free. Anyone can just pull out a phone, put something on put something on social media, and there you go. You've created a video. Not a lot of
Yeah.
people are doing YouTube at the moment, so I'm like I'm one of the very few people on YouTube, a London-based massage therapist on YouTube. So whenever you type in London massage, you'll find me. I mean, how
Yeah.
cool is that? To be able to type in massage in London on YouTube and find me very easily. You know,
Yeah.
and a lot of other therapists, aren't don't see the power of that for some strange reason. And people are turning around to me and saying, well, are people contacting you off the strength of your videos? So are you getting maybe like 5 calls every single day? I said, well, that's not necessarily the point straight away. The fact is that you can always use that video. That video is advertising for you while you sleep, and
Yep.
it's free. And you can also use that as well. Wherever you are, you always pull out your phone and say, well, this is a video that I made earlier.
Yeah.
If they want to know what I'm like, or if they want evidence that that I can actually do what I say that I do, you can always pull out a video of you working at a particular sporting event or going into this particular clinic, and they just don't. Yeah, so I'm actually quite frustrated that I can't seem to, you know, build up a team of people that that have that sort of go-getting,
If
mindset.
I had to, if I had to say, this is, you have a similar issue that I do in that you're looking for other entrepreneurially minded massage therapists.
Right.
There aren't a lot of us. What I would actually do, James, is I would spend my time, look up entrepreneurial circles for people around your age in other industries.
Mm.
So find someone who's doing like tech related stuff but needs video production. Now network with them.
Mm.
So help produce some of their videos and vice versa. So you're forming a network of like entrepreneurially minded people, not necessarily body workers. If I was looking for innovation within the massage industry, it's very lonely. There's just not a lot going on. So it's easier to go into other industries and work with entrepreneurs. The other thing that I think is a benefit to you, because I know that you're trying to forge ahead, even with the current obstacles we have, is that you're going to get different viewpoints and different frames of reference when you see people selling other products and services and how they're making that fit their audience.
Yeah. Products and services. That's actually something that's 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 helped me out as well. You know, I just realised that's one thing that I know this is a little bit off track. But when you said, as soon as you said products and services, nobody really associates what we do as a product, or no one associates like products with our service. And I came to think, and now we've got affiliate marketing. There's very few people that
Yeah.
that also include that as well. I mean, that's something that helped me. I'm not saying that I made a full-time income out of this. Nowhere near, in fact. However, it was something that's better than nothing during these times. And yeah, you could always affiliate what you some of the benefits of your knowledge as well. So
Yeah.
there's somebody who contacted me who had a I think she had a, it's a long time now, several months ago now. I think she had a bruised arm, and she didn't want to go into hospital because I think that the hospital at the time said, well, you can come in, however, there is a risk of you catching something because of, we're living during these times, and only come in if you really think you need to. And so somebody gave her my phone number. No, somebody gave her my Facebook details to her, and then she contacted me, and we got talking. I said, well, unfortunately, at this point in time, I can't see you. However,
Yeah.
from what you're telling me, here's a product that I think that could benefit you. I mean, this is the best I can offer you for now. She bought the product. I got a little bit of commission, and that was a little something that I got. We could also make videos on particular products, which again I think not a lot of therapists know about. So
Yeah.
there are things that we can do. Um, it's just I feel like we just don't have that. We just don't have that that go getting attitude. And you're right. You're right. I really think I need to be associated with other people with an entrepreneurial mindset. If it's IT people, if it's even if it's other salespeople.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm starting to find now that the people that are more willing to be bodies on my table for when I'm doing videos are non massage therapists. You know.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I oh, go on. You're about to say something
we're
there?
having we're having serious conversations within what I'm doing, because as I'm working towards these multi-camera live streams, I really think in some ways I've been selling to the wrong audience, which
Mm,
is I need to go directly to the public and just unleash what I do massively in video and allow the audience to find me. I
yeah,
suspect it's just the general public. It's Joe the plumber who's got low back pain, and I'm using some combination of yoga, Thai massage, body work, self-care, self-massage, and just a little bit of education to help him with his back pain. That's
yeah,
a much larger audience than focusing on, licensed massage therapists.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, like everyone seems to say that's the thing as well. Like, people tend to say, "Oh, find your target market, find your target. Who's your ideal client." And I just thought to myself, well, you know what? I mean, I don't. I'm not that big to do my own market research and to go out onto the streets and
Yeah.
survey everybody. So what I've been doing is just like saying, well, look, here I am. This is what I do. This is what I'm good at doing. And then from that, I get my response. And for me, I mean, I'm only just talking. I'm only just talking about me, but the main people that are coming through the door are your office workers. With a general sort of neck and upper body sort of shoulder discomfort that I deal with. And yeah, that's my main, I suppose, specialty. Although I can do a lot more things, but I just don't think the message is getting out there. Not a lot of us are putting out putting out the message
Well,
really too.
on the upside, I like when therapists are independent and go out and do it,
Yeah,
entrepreneurially minded. They're not waiting on somebody to create it for them. At the same
yeah,
time, the benefit to you and I is it's inordinately easy to stand out because we're willing to make some video.
yeah,
I'm using Zoom. I pressed a button on my phone and plugged in some headphones. Like the
Yeah,
technology is easier and easier to be able to do things like this. People are going, I don't understand. Why do you have a podcast? And I say,
yeah,
listen, people go to my website, check out my podcast because they want to know who I am.
yeah,
And then they book a session and pay me $300 for a session. I mean, the
yeah,
sessions are 3 hours long, but still $100 an hour is pretty good.
yeah,
And they're like, what? And I'm like, man, I'm getting ready to try to do like a cooking show. Like I'm gonna
yeah,
go do food tutorials and tastings. Like I'm gonna have 3 different kinds of cheddar cheese and do like a tasting of cheddar cheese,
yeah,
tequila, beers, and people are like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, because you're building persona. You're talking about food, taste, biology, food chemistry, marketing, advertising, and you're building a bigger audience around people who maybe they're on Instagram, they're looking up cheddar cheese, they find my profile and go, oh wow, this was like a nice video. It looks like he's, like reviewing food stuff I'm interested in.
yeah,
And the whole thing is, if they are also interested in those things, they may follow me and then learn more about video and education. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny that you talk about food as well because I was funny enough I was thinking about doing something very similar. I mean, I know you're
Yeah.
talking about different like cheeses and what have you, but with me, uh, I was thinking about just reviewing certain like healthy foods, like your protein bars and what have you, and sort of low calorie drinks, and yeah, that's something that I wanted to sort of like work into my videos. There seems to be like I mean I mean there seems to be a trend at the moment, mukbang at the moment. It seems to be quite big. A lot of people, a lot of young people know what it is, like teenagers and people in their early 20s. The Korean, it's a Korean word.
Yeah.
Seems to have cottoned on like worldwide, where people like film themselves eating. You know,
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing something a little bit similar. Maybe having something to eat, something healthy to eat. Maybe doing like a massage or somebody straight after. See how that goes. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just haven't had the chance to do all of that just yet. But also, like I've got my new camera where you can get a product. I mean, this is quite sort of nerdy stuff, but I don't know if like, a lot of people would be interested. So if you take a product and put it into the camera screen. So hold on, where's it like that?
Yeah.
Sometimes like the camera wouldn't focus on that. You'd have to like cover yourself, cover the product like this, and then it will focus. But the one that I've got will just focus on that like, naturally. So yeah, it's the Sony ZV-1 that I got hold of. So yeah, this just like it's probably that's probably like a little detail that I think that people would make videos would want to know. But that's how my mind works at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but
I mean, differentiation. It's building a public platform, building fans. Those fans grow. Some people buy things, whether it be sessions, products, services. You try
mm,
to diversify revenue streams, continue building. There's a lot that I could say about it, and I think the fundamental concepts are pretty easy. It's just it's hard to do in the sense that it's going to be time consuming and it's something that you're going to have to continue to work at. Like running your own business is a lot of ongoing maintenance.
yeah, there's always something to do. There's always a lot of things in the background that needs to be tied up. Some just like really sort of tiny little minor things, but have to be sorted. And that's the thing where I find. But that was actually the benefit really of COVID for me is that I was before COVID I was always on the go. I'd wake up sometimes I'd wake up one morning, wake up super early, and then realize that I've had another because my each day of mine is different. So I'd wake up in the morning think that I was late, and then realize it wasn't actually Wednesday, it was Tuesday, so I had an extra hour in bed. But the benefit of COVID was that I could actually slow down a little bit, you know. So that was one thing that really helped me out a bit. But
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is a whole lot of other things in the background that need to be done. For me, I tend to focus a lot on advertising and promoting myself. When I do, and also even for me, like like when people say, well, how do I get work or how do I get interviews? It's become habit for me. So like I've just been every day I receive emails like people looking for massage therapists, and I just even if I'm still even if I'm inundated with work, I'm still applying. I think I'm still in that habit now. Even if I was, um, even if I did have my own independent business, and if I had people contacting me direct, I think I'm in that habit of still applying for work because I've done it so many times. Um, just because I've got that. I think I may have like a healthy fear of being unemployed, or being at so unemployed isn't really a good word, but being not having the work coming in. So that's
Yeah.
my sort of my proactive thinking, really.
Yeah, I mean, the students I work with are floundering to some degree because they're trying to figure out what to do. And fundamentally, if you offer a touch-based service during COVID, we've got problems. Like that's not going to work on the same scale that it did, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, pre-COVID.
Yeah,
Everything has changed. It's something we're going to have to deal with probably till the end of the year at least, maybe into the new year. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens because one of my revenue streams was teaching class in person. That's gone. Like this
yeah,
year has been, I taught a class in March just before COVID really hit, before people
mm,
were, concerned. And it was a very small class, but still people weren't afraid to get together in person. It's gotten bad enough that people are like shaming people in various ways, depending on what they do. um, I went by a pool and there were people having like a big pool party, which I was sort of taken aback by because I don't know what other precautions people are taking. I don't want to go out and judge other people, but I've been trying as much as possible to continue what revenue streams I have and avoid people as much as possible.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think yeah, it is as you said, it is really difficult to do this sort of work when people are trying to avoid contact as much as possible, and that's
Yeah.
yeah, just leaves us like pretty obsolete, really. But then again, there are people out there in pain, and I think there needs to be some sort of oh, what's the word? I think the word is some sort of special. I think discretion probably is the word. I think if they, you know, if the client can prove that the only way that they can manage their pain is through having like good massage work done, and nothing else seems to be helping, then maybe
Yeah.
that could be an option. That, I mean, even though that won't produce like enough work for most of us therapists, but at least it's something. You know, at least there's some work that you might be able to get hold of. You know,
Yeah.
and I think also at the very start of the lockdown here, there were a lot of therapists. Well, I think a lot of agencies were trying to get the therapists to do more sort of one-on-one like video sessions, like just telling people how to use like foam rollers and doing some self massage techniques, and just sharing a lot of tips with clients. But that only really lasted so long. I think I don't think the aftercare you give somebody isn't going to be the real meat and potatoes of the operation. So I think that lasted for about maybe a month max, and then that sort of faded out a little bit. Yeah, yeah,
The
it's
end
tough. I mean,
the
there are no.
industry, yeah, there's no perfect solution when people deal with a hands-on service and there's a novel virus. I mean, I never could have imagined that this was going to happen.
Mm,
But the need for massage and body work is greater than ever. Once the things do really open back up, I suspect that the market is going to take a large jump The other thing that I assume, based on what I've seen here in Texas, is therapists are selling equipment and leaving the industry, which means when things go back to normal, there's going to be a glut of people looking for a new therapist because their therapist retired or moved on to another career.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think yeah that would be yeah. I mean, right. I mean, that's a very positive outlook. I mean, I just have that. I'd love to I'd love to feel that positivity of like, once this is over and I'm sticking at it, that like, because a lot of people have retired, that I'm gonna get a lot of work. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just hope. Yeah, I hope I hope I can adopt some of that positivity, because right now I'm not I'm not feeling it at all.
Oh yeah, no, no. It's hard to be optimistic in the middle of everything that's going on. It's almost like, post-traumatic stress disorder, because it's just this floating anxiety about an unknown virus and vector. So, it's just going to take time for people to deal with it and for us to deal with the biological hazard. I really wish therapists would spend more time working on the business side and infrastructure for their business, which includes video production, video blogging, social media accounts, making a TikTok channel. Yes, a TikTok account. I know it sounds crazy. And like, working on those things. But I also don't judge therapists who basically have just used this time to take a break.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I only took a break because I haven't taken a break. I haven't been on holiday for several years. And earlier on this year, I was admitted in hospital for pneumonia, and that changed my perspective a little bit. I just realised, like, I've been working non-stop for 5, 6, 7 years, and I haven't really taken a break, and that just like that just brought something home for me. Really, I just thought, you know what, I just need to, every now and again, just have a break. Just do something that's not related to work. Really shut myself off from everything, which is very, very hard to do. I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way. I'm sure you're probably lying in bed at times, about to go to sleep. You're probably even sometimes I'm sure you're even dreaming about work. You know, um, but then yeah, I mean, I took about maybe a week or two off when we went into lockdown, and then I started thinking again, like, how am I going to get back back into work? And the only thing that I could really think about was number one, like, making videos consistently, and then number two, getting involved in affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
Although my affiliate marketing skills are completely rubbish, I must admit that. It is at least it's something that I can work on, and yeah, and it's stuff that I've been trying to share with other people, but I think I've been sharing with the wrong people. Um, Maybe I need to work more with, like, maybe other fitness professionals potentially. I think might be another a good way to get in. I think. I mean, you speak to personal trainers; they seem to be a lot more into their marketing and advertising than a lot of therapists. I don't know how it works over your way, but that's what I see over here.
I generally see it as the same. I think one of the biases when I look at adjunct industries, so personal trainers and yoga teachers come to mind. Personal trainers and yoga teachers are much more active on social media and they're much more active in education. I suspect a big part of the difference is yoga teachers and personal trainers work with people who are clothed so they can make
Mm,
video. And that was what I realized made me weird in the massage industry, is that I had a completely close on form of work where I could film everything. That completely
yeah,
changed the conversation and allowed me to regularly put out video and educate the public about what I was doing specifically.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is over here in the UK. I think that us British people are a bit too shy. Even with clothes on, I'm still struggling to get some people to get in front of the camera because, oh, I don't like the way I look. Oh, oh, I don't know what I'm going to say. I said, well, you don't have to say anything. You just lie down there and just have the treatment. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what my work colleagues are going to think. This is what you decide to do in your own life is up to you, provided
Sure.
you're not breaking the law. Yeah. but that's something that I'm going to be working on as well. Oh, actually, one thing that I did as well during this time, actually recently, because I'm looking for a chance to actually use my new camera as well. Um, I went back to what I did in the past was I contacted different charities. But the thing is, I just realised now it's like, oh gosh, we're still in COVID, and everyone and people in the offices are still working from home, so they're not going to contact me. So yeah, doom and gloom, mate. Doom and gloom.
Yeah, I mean, it
Still
again,
looking for different avenues.
I'm very empathetic for therapists who are having problems. I've explained this to students before and colleagues. You know, if my business, okay, where I'm at, if my business went under for some reason, and I'm not that far away. I mean, my main consumers now is the public, but I can't do a lot of sessions, right? Like I'm not really
Mm.
advertising for clients. And then students. Well, the students have mostly gone by the wayside, at least for in-person classes. So one of those revenue streams collapsed. If many more of my revenue streams collapse, I'd have to go deliver pizza. I'd have to go deliver for Amazon.
Right.
I'd have to find another job. But I don't think it's a sign of not being entrepreneurial when you work for someone else or take money from delivering pizza and roll it into your dream business. It's just a
Yeah.
manifestation of where you are at any given time and how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to work for yourself, build your dream? There's a reason why I put so many hours in to doing what I'm doing, because I don't just have a business, I have a spiritual fervor around what I'm doing and using the body work I'm teaching to address social issues. It's like we have an opiate epidemic in the United States that I think a large part of what I'm teaching helps solve some of that problem. We have an issue with social justice and equity issues related to like Black Lives Matter in the United States. What I'm teaching goes a long way to address some of those issues. We have big issues in the United States in regard to gender norms and Me Too. 80% of the massage industry in the United States is women. My work goes to answer, to solve a large degree of those issues and problems, or at least attacks a portion of it. But I don't think people see that initially. I have a spiritual fervor around what I'm doing and teaching that's just as much part of my spirituality as it is my finance and business. That's why I continue doing this obsessively, is because I just love it.
Yeah. No, I like what I do too. I mean, I also like seeing the journey of people improving under your work, and it's just very it's very satisfying to see what's going on, to identify problem areas, get that worked and developed, and see them just going on their way, and also maybe helping them as well with the maintenance, with some maintenance sessions as well. And that is a satisfying thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling the same way as you. I'm looking at alternative. I'm also looking about getting a job. I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, I mean, there's no shame. There's certainly no shame in it,
No,
for sure.
no. And the thing
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
and in a weird way, I think, let's say you got a job, doing something completely different, you're likely going to look at products and services and business from a different angle because you're dealing with a different thing. And I think that can be really valuable. I worked as a volunteer coordinator at a nonprofit for several years, and it was one of the better things I did for my massage practice because it made me address problems in a different industry in a completely different way, and then take those skills that I had learned and then apply it back into my own business doing massage and body work.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I think now that I've got a little bit of extra time, I think I may even do something similar. I may even do like a little bit of voluntary work potentially. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be pretty. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you. So when you do your home visits, I mean, what are the laws
Yeah.
over there in terms of COVID? So if you go into somebody's property to do a treatment, are there any particular procedures you need to follow?
So I could be wrong about this. I think that the state of Texas is requiring therapists to
Yeah.
wear a mask when they work on people. And then I'm not as sure if the client has to wear a mask according to like mandate. I've
Hmm.
seen a little bit of discussion about that. Um, my situation is even more unique because I'm going into people's homes. Like I don't have
Yeah.
a massage facility anymore. Like I had a home studio prior. At the moment, I'm just doing outcall. So it's this thing where there's sort of like, I hate to say it, but it feels like there's a loose interpretation, and I'm seeing some infighting on massage therapist forums about what the rules are and are not. And there's all the hoopla about COVID. Generally, what I tend to do is just make the clients feel as comfortable as possible. And when a client says, are you going to wear a mask? I'm like, absolutely. No, no, excuse me, no issues at all. Um, I think first and foremost, you want people to feel safe because we're trying to relax people. And then
Hmm.
that's also why I've chosen to really limit my exposure. Where again, I think in the last 3 or 4 months, I've only seen, I think, 2 or 3 new clients, and I had pretty detailed phone intakes with those people to find out, listen, are you going to the beach and going to parties? And they're
Okay.
like, no. And I'm like, okay. Like, and I understand there's a degree of risk anytime we work with someone. I'm willing to, deal with a certain degree of risk, but I don't want to be completely socially irresponsible either. When I go to stores or restaurants, of course, I wear a mask. Um, I'm very fortunate now where for the past month or so, I'm in my own apartment, so I'm mostly alone where I don't have to deal with that sort of stress. But I think in Texas, there is a general mandate that you're supposed to wear a mask in a facility and the clients are supposed to wear a mask. I've also seen therapists complaining because the clients don't want to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And they're like, listen, if you want a session, you got to wear the mask. And it's causing some like, back and forth with people and their clients.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for us, it's law, so there's no argument about it. You know, it's like you
Yeah.
have to do it. Although one thing that I've come to realize as well, I mean, I think, yeah, it's not really a popular thing to be saying, but like for me, like I think some of the people who were my regulars aren't my regulars at the moment because of what I wear is a mask, I wear a visor, I wear an apron. Thing is, I don't know if you've seen videos of me wearing this visor and an apron, a visor, apron, and mask. Thing is, when you go to meet somebody, I mean, some people come for a massage. They come for a massage to relax, de-stress, maybe have their also have their pain like addressed as well. But I think part and parcel of it is that connection as well with another human being. It's also it's a very social thing as well to be doing. Some people will come along and offload their problems. They'll talk about their problems. I mean, okay, we're not trained psychotherapists, but that's what people do. You know, you sometimes even with hairdressers as well. You know, people just have like a general good old chit chat. You know, however, if you're wearing that visor, you're wearing you're wearing the mask. It's a bit like having a it's almost compared to I think trying to have a very deep meaningful conversation with somebody while while the person you're talking to is wearing like very very dark sunglasses, and that's how I
Yeah.
that's how I feel. It's almost like there's too much of a barrier as well between two individuals when you're doing a treatment. I think anyway.
Yeah.
You know. And I think that a lot of that is missing because I think people like the reassurance of touch, and I've actually come to experience this as well. You know, sometimes I go into a cafe somewhere, order my coffee, and sit down. Whereas previously, you'd be able to sit down and have a bit of a general chat with somebody, but because there's so many barriers now, so like you go into a cafe, there's a big big plastic screens, so you don't you don't infect anyone. They don't infect you. Um, can't shake hands with people anymore. Yeah, it's all yeah. So I'm just ranting on about like that and so many other things as well. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, again, it's a rough situation. I mean, who likes wearing the mask? Very few. You know, who
yeah,
likes that things have, for the to a large degree, like shut down? Very few. It's just something that we currently deal with, and I suspect it's just going to ease over time as people develop some immunity and it continues to spread. My assumption is COVID is a little bit like the flu. It's going to continue to mutate in various ways, and people will develop an immunity to it. But there's a reason that the flu vaccine only covers certain strains of flu. You know, the flu cycles through. I suspect COVID is probably, excuse me, a virus of that same manner, where it's going to continue to evolve in various ways and it'll cycle through periodically. Um, you know, it's a horrible biological situation, and then beyond that, the economic impact of what it's done, at least in the United States. I'm not as familiar with what it's done globally. I haven't been really keeping track. The problem is so big, it almost feels overwhelming. Like it almost feels like if I spent a lot of time focusing on it, it would cause me to be depressed. So
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it does cause people to be depressed, and that depression rubs off on other people as well. So some of the people that are very close to me, it's like it's really affected me as well, and I'm like trying my very best as well to deal with that. But also, yeah. So just to go back a little bit with your with the stuff that you deal with in terms of like wearing your mask and everything. With the do you carry your futon to people's homes, or do they is there a setup
yeah,
already
I
at
have
home?
because I'm doing out call only at the moment.
Mm,
I've got mats that are vinyl that can be wiped down after the session. I
yeah,
usually have a flat sheet over the top of them to begin with, but I can wipe them down. And then I'm also not really using a huge amount of like oil or cream. The people are clothed,
yeah,
so it doesn't really protect people in terms of COVID. Like, I don't think that doing table massage is more or less of a viral, issue.
yeah,
I think the biggest difference is I just see less people because I'm only dealing with max 2 people a day.
yeah. Oh, are you able to show me the mat that you use, or is that easy to get hold of,
Yeah, I
or
can I can send you a link. The mat I purchased comes from Amazon. I don't even remember. It's like the best gymnastics mat, something like that. When I do out calls, I take one of them. When I'm in a home studio environment, what I did previously is I would connect the two of them. They have Velcro along an edge, so it'll make
okay,
one big mat, so there's room to like walk around the client.
okay. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, certainly send me the link for that. That'd be brilliant. Yeah, and it's like
Yeah, yeah, I can send you that link.
it's got a handle that you can hold on to. Is that you
Yeah,
carry it this
it's
way?
inordinately it's synthetic, it's inordinately lightweight. It's very inexpensive. I think it was less than $100 for a single mat.
Okay.
It's highly portable. They're easy to stack. It really hit a sweet spot as far as like what people needed. So that's what I'm using. I even collected the mats from the Thai massage jam that I usually hold on to some of those mats to be able to demonstrate different mats in my classes. But I'm actually thinking about unloading those mats to people in the Austin Thai massage community and then buying more of these mats. Because when I do the jams, for instance, I can just interlink the mats. I can just put all the
Yeah.
mats together to make one big floor mat.
Oh yes. Yeah. How are the jams coming on? Are they completely?
Oh yeah, no, this it's completely yeah. I called it off I think in March, and then I told people, hey guys, listen, this is kind of unknown to me. I'll get back to you around July. And then as we got towards June, I went into the group, started talking to people, and said, hey guys, how are we feeling? What's going on? People flipped out. People were getting angry at me. They're like, how dare you even insinuate that you would get people together? And I'm like, whoa, man, I'm just asking what we want to do as a community. Like, I don't
Yeah.
spend all day doing research on COVID and COVID numbers and statistics. I'm just
Mm.
trying to find out, like, and the other thing is, I think when I looked at the people who were complaining, most of them have never been to the jam. So it's people who don't realize that, like, we can have a jam with 4 people.
Yeah.
And if those 4 people agree and want to wear masks, it's like massage therapists are working in a facility where they're seeing like 8 people in a day.
Yeah.
That's a much greater risk, in my opinion, just because you're dealing with a certain, numbers and statistics that way. But likely what I'm going to do, just like I'm doing with education, is the Time Massage Jam is going to go online. Here in the near future, when I get the multicam set up, excuse me, when I have it steady, I'm going to go ahead and just have a colleague over like you, and then I'm just going to work on them for an hour and do like some demonstrate techniques that anybody can do at home, and try to get people to work with me and take the Time Massage Jam online.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. I think I'm really looking up to you because like the people that I think the most of the people that you're talking to are just thinking, okay, well, how am I gonna make video? How am I just gonna get myself in front of the camera? And then I'm at a phase where I'm thinking, well, I need to learn editing skills. But the thing is, I'm looking to you, and what you're doing is you're considering doing like multi-camera angles and that sort of thing. And I'm like, dude, man, that's really cool. I mean, one thing that I was thinking about doing when the technology comes along. I mean, we have the technology now for drones, but the only thing is, when you do a drone, when you're filming something, it's just the propellers on it make too much of a noise. However, could
Yeah.
you imagine if you have a drone, you've got the remote control and you preset it. So let's say angle 1, angle 2, angle 3. You just press, on the remote control where you want to which angle you want to catch the massage from. That's something that I was considering, but we don't have the technology at the moment to make like soundless drones right now. But that's something that I'm pretty
Yeah.
considering for the future. Yeah, once all this is over and I can start saving up money again.
Yeah. I mean, repeated iteration is one of the things that I've been saying repeatedly. And what it is you do something, you try to improve it, you make it better, and you tweak as you go. The repeated iteration is what leads to what I could say is innovation, but making things continually better. It's not about being perfect. You just start with a smartphone. Maybe you get a tripod. That's your first, big step. Once you're able to do that, you just try to expand. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's business is a bit different, but I'm a big fan of personal brand. The people who want to get sessions with me like me as a person. The students who want to study with me like me as a person. And building that trust and rapport with clients and students is what allows you to continue building the product
Mm.
and service.
Yeah, that's something that you hit something you hit the nail on the head at the moment. 'Cause I was going through a bit of a phase recently. Somebody said to me, "Oh, James, why don't you make more yoga videos?" And I was like, "Phew, why would I want to make yoga videos at the moment? The vast majority of yoga teachers right now that are actually making it are young, attractive females in bikinis on the beach somewhere, doing all the most advanced poses. How am I
Yeah.
going to compete with that? How am I going to compete with that? However, I just decided to make a video, just a general warm up video, um, just because I wanted to use my new camera, and I just posted it to my students, and one of my students replied to me and said, well, she did a class today and said, well, you know what, my husband's is experiencing a little bit of sciatic pain at the moment, and he did your video, and that's helped him quite a bit. Now, thanks for doing that. And that was like a little bit of motivation that helped me. That's helping me to make some more in the future. So it's just a little something to reinforce what you said uh, about people getting to know you as a person and liking you as a person and developing your personal brand.
I mean, it is, in a way, a lot of work. I think therapists in particular, service providers who go and work for someone else, they have a very set notion of like they just go in and do the massage.
Mm,
But what I'm really talking about is entrepreneurially building new services that are adjuncts, if you will, to massage, if you even consider them massage in some instances. And when you're selling something the public isn't aware of, education is really important.
mm,
The video that I put out is the ongoing education, is the ongoing message, the ongoing conveying of ideas, and then finding the audience who really wants to partake in those same things. It's not a matter of converting people to your way of thinking. It's you
mm.
getting on camera, being authentic, and drawing the people who already think like you do.
Yeah, I think in that in what you were just saying as well, what I found, what I think is quite interesting, because I'm also thinking about something else. So, like with a lot of people out there who say, well, I don't know what I'm going to post. That's the one thing. Well, I say, like, well, for me, I started off very, very, very small. I didn't know really what to post. However, when I had that one client that said, well, I've got this particular problem, or I need a bit of help with this, I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm going to make a video for that. I'm not going to say, oh, John Smith asked me to make a video. Oh, I'm decided to make this video for John Smith. I just say, well, this is what somebody said to me, and here is my answer to it, and I'm making this available to the public. And that's something that got me started, and that's something that built a little bit of an audience for me. Yeah, so I thought that's something that I wanted just to put out there. Robert, I just realised now that we've gone over the hour, well over the hour. I was quite surprised that we're going to last that long.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh
it's
no,
about
my yeah. I did one the other day. It was like 2.5 hours. So you need to head out, right?
uh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's about just gone 11 here, and I have an interview,
Sure.
another Zoom interview tomorrow morning.
So
So
let's do this real quick. Tell the audience again where they can find you online.
yeah, sure. Just go to www.maxstrengthholistics.co.uk. Alternatively, if you type in massage in London on YouTube, you'll find me. That's the power of video. You can find me very, very easily. And other examples of what I do. Also, if you type in Tuina London, so Tuina, Tuina space London, you'll find even more videos of me there. So yeah, please do comment on those videos, like and subscribe for Max Strength Holistics, and yeah, hope to even see some of you who watch this in person. You just never know.
Sure. So listen, James, thank you so much for coming on and discussing
Thank
with me.
you.
We can do some more of these in the future. Everybody, it's great having you here on the podcast. If you want to follow me, you can find me on my social media. I'm mostly everywhere. And also check out our free trial subscription service for CE education. There's over 500 hours of my video instruction available for $7 a month, and your first month is free. Thank you guys for tuning into the podcast, and I will see you very, very soon.
Ciao.